5 minutes. You receive an evacuation alert from the country you're living in. To evacuate the vicinity immediately.
When evacuation orders happen in real life, they don't come with instructions. They come with confusion.
You have 5 minutes to leave. About 5 minutes to decide if it's fight or flight. To shelter in place or find the border as quickly as you can. 5 minutes to grab everything you need. 5 minutes before roads clog, airports fill up, and borders tighten. Now, what are you grabbing to survive the next 3 days?
We built a bag for exactly that moment. Our bug-out bag.
15 items, 20 pounds, and 72 hours with one objective: to stay alive. First thing you're gonna need is water. Not a jug, not a case, one bottle. 2 if you can carry it without it slowing you down. Water buys you hours. It buys you clarity. It buys you distance from the chaos.
The human body can survive about 3 weeks without food, but only 3 days without water.
Which is exactly why water is survival priority number 1. We have 2 bottles packed and are prepared to buy or treat water along the way if necessary.
Next, calories. You're not packing meals. You're packing energy. Anything with sugar, salt, fat, or protein. Peanut butter, energy bars, nuts, dried fruit, beef jerky. Something you can eat while moving. Something that doesn't spoil.
Something you can hold in one hand while your other hand opens a door, climbs a fence, or pushes out of the way. Your body needs fuel, but you must keep moving.
When the shit hits the fan.
If you don't make a timely decision, one will be made for you.
Phones buzzing, neighbors knocking, and rumors spreading faster than facts. Panic has entered the chat, and suddenly everyone is trying to leave, all at the same time.
In our scenario, we're not waiting to be rescued. We're 19 hours on foot away from the border of Cambodia, and we're going for it. So here's the rule. Your bug-out bag isn't about comfort. It's about function. It's about mobility. 15 items, under 20 pounds, everything that you need to stay alive for 3 days.
If you can't sprint with it, it doesn't come with you. This is your next necessity: gloves. During disasters, your hands become your essential tools.
Moving debris, climbing obstacles, opening damaged doors, breaking locks, tying knots. Without protection, one bad cut to your hands can stop you completely. Get tough. Lightweight, form-fitting gloves, and 2 pair if there are 2 people.
Next is a light source. A flashlight if you have it, a glow stick if you don't. Darkness is a predator, and light is your weapon. You don't need brightness, but you do need visibility.
Disasters rarely happen in the middle of a calm and sunny afternoon. They happen during storms, during blackouts.
And when power goes out in cities, darkness becomes a silent, tormenting killer that stalks you everywhere. Stairwells go black. Elevators stop. Debris blocks pathways.
A flashlight takes one hand, but a headlamp gives you both hands back. And when you're climbing, helping someone else, or moving through wreckage, all of that matters. 1 lamp per person, and opt for battery operated. Trying to charge your light during a blackout makes you into a victim.
The following message is
3 is a magic number.
You're largely on your own. 3 days is the amount of time it usually takes for rescue operations to stabilize, for relief supplies to arrive, for evacuation routes to organize.
The first 3 days of a disaster, the power is out.
Communications from authorities is inconsistent.
Transportation breaks down.
And emergency services are overwhelmed. Chaos is at its peak.
This time is universally known as the golden window.
But for those who are prepared, it's also a window of opportunity.
Because while most people are confused, hesitating, hoarding, or waiting,
the people who are prepared can move early if necessary.
They can get ahead of traffic, ahead of shortages, and ahead of the crowd.
They don't react to chaos.
They're prepared to move before it peaks.
When everything is shot to hell, all you have is your plan, a stable mind, and the 2 hands that God gave you.
You also have a community of Black travelers from around the world you can tap into.
The Black Slomad Connection is our Facebook community of Black travelers who are soon to be on the road,
Living on the road,
or dreaming of the road.
join us on Facebook if you're ready to be a part of the Black Slomad movement that's happening right now.
We out here. This one looks simple, but it's one of the most versatile survival items you can carry.
Contractors' heavy-duty garbage bags. These bags can become a rain poncho, a ground barrier, a waterproof shelter, a water collector, insulation.
Staying dry keeps your body functioning, and once you're soaked and cold, everything is compromised and exponentially harder. Stay nimble, stay moving, and stay alive.
Now you need a blade. Not only as a weapon, but a tool, a knife, a multi-tool, a box cutter, a saw. Tools extend your hands. They multiply your strength, and they solve problems before they become threats. They cut rope, they cut tinder, they prepare food, they create shelter, they open containers. Grab one.
If you can, opt for a single blade with no hinge, no weak point. I opted for a hatchet with attachments. The best option is what is available to you. If you have to, grab a kitchen knife. Grab the knife that's most sturdy. Take what you can take, but keep it moving. And keep your wits about you as you move through the distress zones. Self-reliance is survival.
Pack a compact first aid kit complete with your personal medical needs. Hospitals fill up quickly. Assume they will be of no service to you. Even small injuries become serious problems. So make your own first aid kit. Those off-the-shelf first aid kits aren't made for real emergencies. Add in what you need. Super glue for open wounds or bad cuts, sterile gauze and medic tape for other wounds, ace bandages for sprains, scissors, band-aids, pain relievers, antibiotics, some antiseptic, and a couple of double shots of whiskey for some steady hands.
Lastly, some masks, a bandana, some fabric or a cloth to cover your face with. Smoke, dust, ash, chemicals, air becomes contaminated long before the authorities admit anything is wrong. Anything that filters particles buys you minutes of breathable time. And breathing is everything.
For expats, documents are vital. It's your identification when you're trying to cross borders. It's to prove you exist when the system eventually crawls back online. IDs, passports, debit cards, a little cash, visas, your residency permits.
Border crossings can open and close quickly during crises, and without identification, you may not be allowed to go through.
So use waterproof envelopes for your physical docs. Load them to the cloud and to your phone so you have plenty of backup. In this instance, redundancy is key.
Your phone, even if it's dead, is still a flashlight, still a camera, still a data storage device, still a map if you downloaded offline routes, still a way to receive signals so the moment networks return, it can be your lifeline in the wake of a disaster.
But phones die quickly during disasters, which is why a powerful power bank belongs in the bag. Hey guys, we are shooting the video today in light of all the craziness that's happening, being abroad and knowing how to survive, especially when unexpected things pop off, like natural disasters, like war zones, things like that. So in making a go bag, what are some things that you think should be in your go bag?
Greenbacks, cold hard cash, USD is one of the most essential items in that go bag because it's gonna move when everything stands still. It's what's gonna get us across the border when we need to get across the border. It's what's gonna open up the door to someone's home to us when we need to get shelter. To get USD in a foreign land as an expat, if you don't have it and you can't get it to any ATM machines and you can't make it happen, go to a jewelry shop. They deal in USD when they buy jewelry and gold because it's stable. Go to the local banks if they're open and you can exchange there. I generally try to stay away from money exchange places because I just feel like I'm getting got one way or another. I just went to a jewelry shop here and got an exact exchange rate for this USD. So word to the wise, keep them greenbacks in your go bag.
Just enough to buy or bribe officials or secure food or transportation. Keep it tucked in a zippered pocket. You lose your wallet in chaos. Don't lose your access to the world.
Item number 11 is small and necessary. A compass. It's simple, but when disaster hits, the systems we rely on disappear.
GPS depends on 3 things: power, cell networks, and functioning satellites. During crises, at least one of those usually fails. Sometimes all of them. If you're trying to move toward a border, a coastline, or even a major highway, knowing its direction and orientation to you matters because
Wandering in the wrong direction during a crisis can flatline you quicker than anything else.
Item 12, rope. Specifically, paracord. It weighs almost nothing, but it solves a lot of problems.
Shelter, gear repair, a clothesline, a medical sling, tying down equipment, learn your bowline, square knot, trucker's hitch, taunt line, and figure 8.
If you need to build a temporary shelter using a garbage bag or secure gear while you're moving, rope gives you options.
And survival is really about one thing: options. The more problems you can solve with the tools you have, the better your chances of making it through those first 3 days. And if you can't locate paracord, try fishing line or the rope you're hanging your clothes on. Cut it, tie it down, and throw it in the bag. Item number 13 is warmth. Now, if you're living in a city, you might think fire isn't necessary, but fire is more than warmth.
Fire means warmth, light, sterilization, boiling water, safe food.
And if you're forced to spend the night outdoors or in a damaged building, fire can make the difference between staying functional and becoming hypothermic, which is why Mylar emergency blankets are also in the bag. These emergency blankets maintain 90% of your body temperature and have a reflective surface to act as a signal to anyone within the range of light.
Even in warm climates, body temperature drops quickly at night, especially when you're exhausted, wet, or stressed.
One Zippo lighter, one magnesium block, and suddenly you have control over your environment again. We've packed a tin with Vaseline-coated cotton balls as fuel and our magnesium fire starting kit, so we're ready. You should be too.
Item 14, duct tape. This might be the most underrated survival tool in the entire bag, especially if you need to deal with someone.
Because duct tape fixes things, and during disasters, things break constantly.
You can repair torn bags, broken straps, damaged clothing, loose shoes, even improvise bandages or splints.
You can even use it to seal gaps against smoke or dust, or reinforce gear while you're moving.
When you're operating with limited resources, the ability to repair equipment becomes incredibly valuable.
Last on our list is the smallest in our bag, a whistle. Because humans are loud until they aren't. When your voice fails, tools speak for you.
Your voice doesn't last long when you're shouting for help. After a few minutes, your throat will betray you. You can either go hoarse trying to be noticed or use a simple tool, and whistles get the job done.
Every time. The sound depth of a 100 decibel whistle can carry 1.5 miles, and this one I believe goes a little louder. Now the international distress signal is 3 short toots. SOS is 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. Put that on repeat and wait to be rescued. If you're trapped, separated from your group, or trying to signal rescuers, a whistle can make the difference between being found and being missed.
So when you step back and look at this bag, it isn't random gear.
Every item solves a specific survival problem: light, water, navigation, repair, communication.
And when you put those pieces together, you create something powerful.
Time. 72 hours of it. And that's exactly how long it takes to give yourself a fighting chance to survive.